I got lots of requests for basic sandwich bread. For this I'm using nearly 6 cups of bread flour because I'm going to do 2 loaves, 10-inch loaf pan I'm going to use with the lid, or you can use without a lid too, but to get the shape I'm using with the lid. So I'm using 2 10-inch loaf pans, but if you want to half this recipe you can do it too. So 6 cups of bread flour, half a cup of milk powder. You can totally omit milk powder and add another half a cup of flour into this recipe, and 2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of honey, or you can use brown sugar or either white sugar, and 2 tablespoons of margarine. To start this recipe, what I'm going to do first is going to add the flour into a mixing bowl. So I'm ready. I'm going to add the bread flour into the mixing bowl, and into that going to add the yeast and then the milk powder, and going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. After adding honey, going to add 2 tablespoons of margarine. You can use butter instead of margarine too, or either olive oil or any other kind of oil. Then 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm going to mix this on low speed about 1 minute before adding the water. Now while mixing, add the warm water little by little to make a smooth nice dough, and knead about 10 minutes. I knead the dough about 10 minutes, so I'm going to put that into a greased bowl and leave it in a warm place until this double in size. So my bread dough is double in size, so I add some flour onto the bench top. Next, going to put the bread dough on to the flour. Then I'm going to cut this into 2 equal parts. After, take one part out and press it thoroughly to release the air from the dough, and knead it with your palm about 1 minute. After, flour the bread dough again and press it down and roll this to a rectangle or a square, doesn't matter. After rolling the dough, roll it from one corner to the other like this, and shape the dough, and take the loaf pan and grease it well. You can use butter or any other kind of oil to grease the loaf pan. And then I'm going to put that log in the tin and going to cover this. If you want to bake it the same time, you have to prove this again until it double in size, or till it come to 90% of the loaf pan like this, and then when you bake it will come up. If you don't have a lid, you don't need to worry about it at all. You can make a nice crusty loaf from that too. So I'm going to put that in the fridge to bake it next morning. I took the bread out from the fridge and it is half done actually, slow process in the fridge. So what I'm going to do is going to keep this in a warm place until it comes to the top, and then I'm going to bake this on 180 about 30 to 45 minutes. So I left the bread in a warm place to prove, and this is how it looks like. It has come up to the top. If you are not using a lid, it will come up nicely like a normal bread, but when I put the lid on, it's like just sandwich bread. It's not coming up but cooking inside. So I'm going to bake this on 180 about 35 to 45 minutes. That will vary to check whether it is cooked, and be careful when if you are using a lid, it is hot. So just knock the cooked bread to see whether it's giving a hollow sound. So I'm going to bake this now. I finished baking the bread, so be careful when you take the lids off, and If it gives a hollow sound, it's already done. And leave this on wire racks to cool down. And I hope you will enjoy this. Thank you for watching.